I'm gonna be honest, my budget was more like a guideline this month. Today, I am $69,659 in debt. Now I would like to talk to you about my very eventful month and trying to figure out what budgeting app I'm gonna start using next and which one I actually like. If you saw my recent negative $50,000 net worth video, I just crossed that milestone and I'm so proud of myself. In that video, I mentioned that I started using Mint because a lot of you guys actually suggested it to me and it actually really impressed me with some of its capabilities that I wasn't aware of before. Now, I will say, as I kept using it more and more, I did notice some issues that I had with the app, and honestly, I wasn't the biggest fan of it because I really like it when things are accurate and precise, and sometimes Mint didn't really allow me to do that. I was able to get it to a point where it was actually really similar to what I had budgeted for at the beginning of the month on the other app. In fact, you can separate it by income and expenses, so you can see all of the income that I had for the month, and then my expenses, which are all in customized categories that either I created or were already there by default that I ended up using. I will say that I kind of stopped using Mint halfway throughout the month because these categories do not show the decimal places. And it honestly seems like such a small, minor thing that really shouldn't affect how you're budgeting or how much you're actually going to contribute towards your goals. But I personally really like having that resolution because I love having a zero-based budget. And to me, Mint tries to be a zero-based budgeting app, but it's not quite there yet because I want to know if there are 3 cents left over that I can throw at my student loans, and I can't quite tell here on the app. The other thing is changing the quantities that you want to put towards a certain category requires kind of an extra step, which again is a small thing, but it's just something that doesn't really work with me because I love adjusting my budget throughout the month, especially when I don't spend as much as I thought I would in a certain category. I like to quickly make changes and put that money towards another category or towards my student loans. So in response, I decided to create a budget in a spreadsheet, which is something that I really did not want to do, and honestly, I was right. I think spreadsheets are an amazing way to visualize your goals and plan out where you want to allocate your money because it's all in one page and it does math for you. However, when I actually did it, it ended up being a bit more complicated than I felt it needed to be. So here I set up my April 2021 budget. I had set up my different categories here along the left and wrote the subcategories right next to them. So essentially the numbers under the plan section should match up exactly to what I had listed in my April 2021 budget video. So right now I'm just gonna go through my April spending because this spreadsheet I think has maybe one mistake in it that I can't quite pinpoint, but it gives you a good summary of what I actually did spend in the month. And I just want to go through that very quickly just so you can see what changed and what I'm gonna do about it. I actually ended up earning $2,090 and $2,076 for my 2 paychecks. They are higher than what I had budgeted for, which is annoying because it means that every time I have tried adjusting my paycheck and my tax withholdings, I haven't actually gotten to where I wanted to be. And then I ended up making $126 from Upwork this month, which was less than what I had planned, which was $216. Then I ended up making $20 on Marketplace because I sold that one travel cooler that you'll see in the closet in my video. It's like a Black & Decker thing. Venmo, I got $31 from a friend who I had dinner with. I just put $100 under Venmo, but it wasn't really Venmo. I honestly just didn't feel like making another category in the spreadsheet because I knew I wasn't gonna use it again. So my mom transferred $100 to my account because I wanted to make a Weeble account so that she could get 6 free stocks from her referral link. And then I also got $70 in cash from my mom because I ended up transferring $70 to her account so that I could get cash, so that I could pay for gasoline in cash because it's cheaper than paying with card here in New Jersey, at most gas stations at least. So I spent $81 on gas this month in cash, $158 in tolls, so I did a lot of driving. My vaccine appointment was actually like an hour and a half away, so I had to take the turnpike all the way down. But you know what? But your girl is vaccinated. I love being a robot. It's been a great time. I still need to get my second dose though, so then I will fully transform. I'm completely joking, by the way. Please go get vaccinated if you want to. You know, it's your body, your choice, but I'm so happy I got vaccinated and I do not mind spending on tolls to get to that early appointment. $55 on my phone. Then I actually got a $3 credit for canceling my renter's insurance, which I really should have done 5 months ago, but I didn't. So my refund was only $3. So that's why my check payment went down, because in my credit card they gave me a credit of $3. So I spent like less than $13 on Chegg. Entertainment, I spent $12.67 on Fearless Taylor's version. Go stream, go buy it right now. I did not end up getting the vinyl this month because I'm really hoping that Target comes out with the vinyl, because they did the same thing for Evermore and I think Folklore as well, and I don't want to pay for shipping. So then movies, that charge, the $9.24 charge, did not actually take place in April. It's gonna take place probably tomorrow. So I'm filming this April 30th. The $9.24 expense will probably post tomorrow or maybe even Monday. So I'm just not even including it this month. I'm gonna try a different style of budgeting and I'll show you that soon. You know, I sent $100 towards my new Weeble account, and guys, I gave in. I wanted to join the hype. I wanted to be part of something bigger and I decided to fund my old Robinhood account that I have honestly never used, but I've had for like 2 years, and I funded it with $50 so that I could buy Bitcoin and Dogecoin. And you know, I'm not proud of myself for doing that, but I'm really happy that I have a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of Bitcoin and some Dogecoin. And next up, there's no expense here, but I also created a Coinbase account. So far, a big fan of Coinbase because I have not put a dime into that account, and I have more than a dime in that account now. You can literally take quizzes about cryptos and just learn about them, and they'll just reward you with free stock or like free coins or fractions of coins. So it's been fun, and I hope they come out with more quizzes because I'm taking them and I'm earning money there. Next up, I spent $59 at the restaurant that I went to with my friend. So I paid for the whole bill and then he Venmo'd me. So that's why that's more than the $50 that I had budgeted. Pet, I spent almost $35 on Percy. I didn't end up taking him grooming this month, so I'm actually gonna do it tomorrow, May 1st. Miscellaneous cash. So when I did go and donate all of my clothes, I obviously did that at a thrift store, and I wanted to see if I could get like a relatively cheap mirror so that I could add it to my home workout room. They had a super cheap mirror for $3.99, and then when I went to the register, it ended up being $3.19. So very happy with that purchase. I paid it in cash. At the beginning of the month, I was just, you know, browsing some websites, and I really wanted these like Reebok sneakers, and I also wanted these UGG slippers, and then I also wanted like these waterproof Birkenstocks so that I could wear them to the beach, not get them ruined. And at some point I was like, wow, like I don't know what my size is. Like I should probably go to the mall and see like what size I am. You know, like whenever I do, you know, potentially buy these shoes, I'll know what my size is. My parents and I went to the mall and I tried the shoes on and I was like, yep, these fit me perfect. They're the only size here and they fit me, and I bought them because I was already there. Then I went to Famous Footwear and they had the same shoes for $10 less, and so my mom was like, just buy them here and we'll return them at like the Reebok store. And so that's what I ended up doing. And at the same time, while I was at Famous Footwear, I noticed that they had the Birkenstocks that I wanted, but they were all sold out in like the adult section. But then we go to the kids section and they had like size 33 Birkenstocks and they fit me perfectly. You know, it was just meant to be. It was probably at least $10 less than what I would have paid. So I bought these shoes for such a cheap price and I was so happy with it. So I ended up spending like almost $90 on shoes this month, which I absolutely did not plan on doing, but you know, I have wanted these pairs of shoes for like at least a year now, so I'm happy I got them. And I don't really blame myself because I did get rid of a lot of shoes, and I know that I'm gonna use the shoes that I bought because I'm putting a lot more value into them. Okay, then I paid my self-employment tax, and that ended up being $31, not $30.92, because they only accept whole numbers. And this month I ended up sending $3,508.25 towards my student loan debt. and that is $319 less than what I had planned. I tried really hard to make this look good because I thought this was gonna be what I present on my videos from now on and how I want to look at my spending. I then realized that spreadsheets really are not what I need. It's not the way to go because clearly I messed something up here because this 278 should be like a 243, and I'll show you why I know that. So very soon after I had kind of been using the Mint app and my Google Sheets budget, I realized that this really wasn't sustainable. I hated having to use two things for one purpose. I kind of started watching a few more videos about budgeting and what people use for their budgeting apps. While I was doing that, Gen Z Finance, who is another personal finance YouTuber, posted this video about why YNAB is worth it. So if you don't know, YNAB is a budgeting software called You Need a Budget, and it's an online software. It has an app version, but it costs like $84 per year. I actually watch a lot of ynabbers, like, you know, Gen Z Finance is one of them, Barlow Street is another, there is Millennial Making It, there are so many other amazing YNABber YouTubers, and I always love watching their budgets because they are so fun to look at. It's kind of satisfying to see how they use the software. And in the past I had considered whether or not I would ever want to get YNAB, and I felt like, you know, at some point maybe I would, because I do like keeping track of all my spending, you know, in a very clear way. But then I also felt like this doesn't make sense. Like, why would I pay for something to do math for me? That's so unnecessary and it's so extra. But then I really thought about it and I was like, well, I use my budget more than I use Netflix, and I'm paying for Netflix every month. And YNAB is less expensive than Netflix, and I know that I would use it all the time, and it would make my life easier. While this was going on, I was also thinking of the pros and cons of Mint, and for me, the pros of Mint were that it was free, you could link accounts, you could have a customized budget, it has a mobile and desktop version, and they calculate your net worth for you. However, at the cost of this, you get a lot of advertisements, so you can't see the decimal values as I had mentioned before, and it's kind of hard to budget in the future. And you guys know how much I love seeing in the future. I love forecasting, and it's just something that's not really a good mix with Mint. That didn't quite work, and then I thought about my Google Sheets budget, thinking of just completely doing my budget there and not using Mint at all. And then I was like, yeah, Google Sheets is great. You know, it's customizable, it's a very familiar platform, like I know how a spreadsheet works, but you know what? It's not a database. And what I really want is a database with different fields that I could track, you know, what data transaction occurred, what I actually purchased, who is a payee, where did that money come from that I spent. It's really hard to track the history of these transactions if you're not using a database. Now, when Gen Z Finance made a video about why YNAB was worth it, I watched the whole thing. She provided really good arguments about, you know, why even Mint has kind of questionable company practices. But then I really started thinking, like, YNAB is taking information from a database, querying it, and showing it to you, the end user, in a very friendly interface. And that is exactly what I needed. That's exactly what I want. And of course, it'll come at a price. So I decided to just give it a shot and do the free trial, and I started using it, and lo and behold, I realized that I had missed something completely in all of these YNAB budget videos that I've been watching for months at this point now. And it's the fact that you should not be forecasting your budget, because that'll eventually lead you to not really budget correctly, and you know, it kind of sets you up for failure. And that's basically what I've been doing. But it's honestly because I like to predict when I'll be debt free, and creating my loan payoff spreadsheet is definitely based on forecasts and estimates of my future income and future payments towards certain goals. So even though YNAB was this great software and it has a mobile and desktop version, it required me to completely change my mindset and philosophy and approach towards budgeting. Probably like the first day of using it, I was honestly kind of bummed because it didn't do what I thought it was gonna do, and I thought I'd be able to start budgeting for May and just seeing how that would look like, but I could only budget the money that I had in my bank account at that time for April, and if I wanted to budget in the future, I would be using April money for May. It meant that I would be throwing less at my student loans for April and spending that money in May. And after kind of having that inner conflict, I just decided to budget based on YNAB's philosophy and budget ahead for any expenses that would take place before my next paycheck in May. So I gave in and actually gave it a shot, and I'm finding that I was kind of already doing this. The problem with it is that I was doing it with my emergency fund of $1,000 that was already my checking account. So if I don't get paid on the first day of the month, I would obviously dip into those funds if I had an expense coming up. Thankfully, my expenses are so low because I literally live with my parents and I don't really pay for anything other than transportation. But doing that exercise kind of made me aware of how I have not really been budgeting correctly, and it really drew attention to that. So, you know, I gave in, I did the YNAB philosophy, and now I have my budget in YNAB and I'm liking it so far. Okay, so this is now my YNAB budget. So I have my categories over here and then my subcategories underneath. The best thing about YNAB is that I can actually create different budgets. So this is not my only budget. I can actually incorporate my mom's budget under my account, but it'll be her separate budget. That's what really sold me on YNAB, because I did not want to continue using every dollar for my mom either, and I also did not want to make a separate spreadsheet for my mom's expenses as well, because that honestly just sounds like such a nightmare and I did not want to deal with it. For me, the $84, worth it just on that point. The other thing is that obviously you can link your account, so you can see all my accounts here, and you know, the reports will calculate your net worth and stuff like that. So I already went through all of my expenses. This negative 20 cents is actually going to turn into cash back from my credit card, so I'm not really overspent. I'm gonna, you know, cash that in once it hits my account. But other than that, I'm done with April and I can go into May. I am budgeted ahead in May, so I have like $35 in gifts here, $50 in gas, $70 in tolls, $65 for Percy's grooming tomorrow, $14 on food that I actually spent on a work trip already, but it's not gonna post to my account until May. And then here is the movie streaming charge for April. This is what YNAB is, and I'm still learning a lot about it, so I don't really wanna go into the details of it, but I'm starting to budget in the future and we'll see how this pans out. Yes, it lowered how much I was able to contribute towards debt this month, but I think changing my philosophy and approach to budgeting is gonna be a bit more beneficial than saving a few more dollars in interest. So then I also just decided to update my loan payoff spreadsheet, decrease the estimates for each month, just because I know that I've been a lot busier lately and I've been spending more on transportation because I've been going to work and I've been using tolls and they can really add up. I've lowered my contributions for the month and just made them an even number. I'm still on track to paying things off in September. This month I hope to send $3,800 towards my student loans. Here in my debt payoff chart, you'll see I have paid off $76,470.33 of debt since the start of my debt-free journey. That's so much money. I could have spent that on a house. My current net worth is negative $47,737.41. That's a change of $3,554.42 in 1 month. My next big milestone would be negative 25K, and I believe that's gonna happen sometime in October. Yeah, I hope you guys kind of followed that. It is definitely still confusing for me, but long story short, I tried out 2 different new budgeting methods. They didn't work out, and then I ended up with YNAB, and I will likely be doing bi-weekly budget videos because the only times I can really budget is when I get paid, because that's how YNAB works. So let me know what you guys think of that. I could also just limit it to 1 and just show you how I budget once. Thank you guys so much for watching and for helping me get over 400 subscribers. I honestly would love to get to know you guys more, so leave a comment below and tell me something about yourself that you'd like to share, you know, especially if it's frugality and finance related, or it can be something fun, like tell me your favorite color, tell me what your favorite Taylor Swift song is. Actually, that's not fair. I can't even answer that question. But yeah, tell me something about yourself, and don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, and if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, because I have a lot more learning and growing to do in YNAB, and you can watch me struggle through that. So yeah, thanks.